Hello, 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 hello. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 13, and we paint together. He helps me paint the backgrounds of our paintings, and then I paint the rest. I'm about to sneeze. We started out doing a hand-over-hand method, trying to work on his fine motor skills, and we've tried many a different method over the years, and now he's actually doing a lot of it on his own, and then we'll kind of go back and finish some of the edges and things. And yeah, you can tell they're not always flat or straight, but that is part of what we do. As I was spiraling, I was going out, and then I was gonna make little flowers and things on this, but maybe this is gonna be one big flower. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens as I go along here. A lot of times what I think I'm gonna do and what it ends up being are like two different things. So this was just gonna be kind of the background of what I was doing, but we shall see. So we've been working with Owen. I've been doing this with him for years, and he goes through stages where, like, when he was much younger, he was actually writing clearer, and then he went when he was in first grade, it started to change, where his lettering wasn't as clear, and we tried every kind of like adaptive type of thing and holding it differently, and they have like the wedges and the straps and the just tons of different ways. So tried many different options and ways to kind of work through that, and I think it's partly how he's still trying to figure it out, partly I do not know what the right term would be. Like, I don't want to say it's not important to him, but it's just not something that it's not something that he thinks about on that level, as to being able to need to write his letters or his name or that type of thing. And I think the more that he gets older, it's going to start making a little bit more sense for him, but I still feel like there's some things that are just not there with that connection. He talks about scribbling all the time. He wants to scribble his name versus writing his name. And so I told him that writing allows him to express and be able to share that he is Owen, and to be able to write out his letters of his name. That's something that he can share, that he's Owen. So he has an O here. And I told him, I said, you can use scribble to make art. And so we've been doing, this is one of his scribble monsters, and letting him name the different ones, and just trying to kind of get him to understand that he can make his decisions on, what he does with art, and what he does with the, way he writes his name and that type of thing. But learning learning how to write his name will be something that is the way he can share who he is, when he's telling his stories or when he's painting or when he's doing something. That way people will know this is Owen's artwork, this is Owen's paper, this is Owen's things. And I'm hoping that by kind of relating it like that and allowing him to, still do his scribbles, still let him express himself in however he wants to, but trying to make the connection that even though we're scribbling or we're doing something like that, he can still completely and totally write his name out or a word out so that we can express that and share, in his journey and about what he's wanting to talk about. So we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things that's kind of ever changing, and I never want to squash his, his art, his ways of communication, or his things by, saying that he has to know how to write. He has to know how to do this. Because, it's different for all of us, and that isn't something that necessarily, like I said, really translates right now for him as to it being important that he does know how to sign his name or he does know how to. But I see more connections all the time with him on how he, he's 13 now, so the older he gets, the more he's going to want to communicate and and it's not so much that the communication part of it, it's that he gets to be able to be his independent self, and the more that we can express that part of it is what I really want from him, because I want him to know, I want him to know that that's part of growing up is him being able to make decisions and go through the process for himself. So it's coming. I mean, the amount of things that he can communicate and share now are absolutely incredible. And so the more that he makes those connections, and the older he gets, I feel like it'll just start to bloom more and more as we go along. So, like I said, as long as I can continue to have him realize that it's about growing his independence, that's what I want him to understand. I want him to just be able to kind of go through that and feel that he's part of his own story. So, okay, see, I told you this was not where I was going at all, but I am very, it expresses a lot of my emotions today, so I like when that happens. It's kind of off kilter, which I've been off kilter all day, and it's just, we've had kind of a rough little transition today. Some days he can read my emotions very well, and I've been through cancer treatments, and sometimes I'm more tired than others, and we slept really good last night, but I still was having kind of a rough morning, and he doesn't quite understand how to handle all my emotions, because he doesn't understand how to handle all of his own. And quite frankly, I mean, I don't always understand how to handle all of my emotions. So, I mean, it's not, it's not that far off. So this kind of truly is a lot about that. So I'm not going to keep messing with the petals because some are incomplete and some are a little more formed, and that that goes with our day. So O for Owen, since he helps me with the backgrounds, and then L and B. So, all right. Thanks so much for watching and being a part of our day. And I really thank those that are constantly supporting us and listening to our story and joining our story on other platforms as well. So I thank you for that, and have a great rest of your day. Toodles, doodles.